Hey everybody, welcome back to Colony Drop, your favorite Gundam podcast. My name is Crux Dogady. It's actually Isaac. That's my name.
And my name is Brian, and this is a podcast where we talk about anything and everything related to the Gundam franchise. From the anime, to the music, to the movies, to the models, to the lore, to the food, to the clothes, to the Jupiter Empire, apparently. Isn't that right, Isaac?
That's right, Brian. And it's still nuts to me that Crux Dogady is a president as opposed to an emperor of the Jupiter Empire.
Well,
it implies they have some type of election that even is a farce, very North Korean in a way where there's a president.
I mean, you can name yourself anything you want when you're a dictator, so.
Very true, Brian. And speaking of naming anything you want, you can also name anything you want in a wholly original Gundam series from Netflix. Isn't that right, Brian?
Oh, that's right, Isaac. So, listeners, one of the first topics that we covered when we started this podcast 5.5 years ago, almost 6 years ago, was the upcoming, which was still upcoming at that time, Gundam live action movie. And surprise, Isaac, back in 2020, we were wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and we thought, oh man, we're going to have a great Gundam movie in the next 2 years. Well, lo and behold, Isaac, it is 2026. We still do not have ourselves a Gundam live action movie.
Oy vey, Brian.
Is that what you expected, Isaac? Did you expect that we would still not have a movie today?
I didn't expect this many delays, Brian. I thought we were actually going to hit the ground running. The momentum was behind us.
It was.
Originally, right?
Yeah.
Everybody was at home. Nobody knew how long the pandemic would go. Gundam was, just starting its kind of tailwind that it's caught now.
Right.
Everybody was streaming anime. Anime was once again in peak popularity, starting to become very pop culture. Why not have a Gundam series? Gundams is a Star Wars of Japan, so it'd be such a good translation if they could pull it off. Netflix has more money than God. Film it. Get it on. A lot of live action adaptations have already happened by now on Netflix. So everything was going right, Brian, and then the train hit the brakes.
That's right. So to recap a little bit, I'm going to go over the then and the now, okay?
Oh, boy.
So the momentum you're talking about was roughly around like late 2020, 2021, 2022-ish. That's when Legendary announced, when I say Legendary, listeners, for those of you who don't pay attention to the movie industry, Legendary means Legendary Entertainment, the film studio. They were going to co-produce with Netflix a Gundam live action movie, and Bandai obviously, and then Netflix was going to distribute it as a streaming original, like a streaming only movie. So it was not going to go to theaters. And that's when Isaac and I were a little bummed. We were like, the theatrical experience. But at the time, as Isaac mentioned, we didn't really know if movies were coming back, right? Everybody was at home. Things weren't going well.
Brian, society could have collapsed and it could have been the end of the world as we know it. That's
True.
how bad things were in early pandemic.
Yes. But there was reason for hope because Brian K. Vaughn, the guy who wrote Y: The Last Man and Ex Machina, he was writing the movie. Jordan Vogt-Roberts, he directed Kong Skull Island. He was directing. He was a big fan of Gundam, Isaac. He wore a Tekkadan shirt to an award show, if I recall, and he even on Twitter he made it known that he was a notable fan of Char's Deleted Affair. I mean, that's a manga, Isaac. If you got a Hollywood director reading a Gundam manga, good chance he's a pretty good fan. He's going to know what he's talking about. And then that's kind of like really where it ended. We got the most that came out of that, Isaac, was that old teaser image. Do you remember of like kind of the obscured Gundam in the fire? It was kind of like half armored.
Yeah. And looking at that now, it's almost like a screenshot from, what was it? Requiem for Vengeance.
I looked at it today and I had the same exact thought. I said, that looks like from a video game. I'm almost glad we didn't get that.
Yeah, it's very Battle Operation 2 intro movie.
I mean, it's probably rough. I'm sure that wouldn't have been the final product. Maybe that was just, showing what they were thinking. But yeah, if you were to take that as the final product, I agree. That looks like a video game movie. It does also look like a Netflix original movie because, some of those Netflix originals, Isaac, maybe not the highest quality. But that kind of died off. Okay, and now where we're at, for whatever reason, there's been a lot of news the last, year, kind of. But then in the last month, there's been a lot of casting announcements. So that's why we're picking this as a topic. And supposedly it's going to start shooting next month, Isaac, in Australia, of all places, which is highly ironic. Just a shout out to Australian Isaac. I guess we have a man on the ground, Isaac. We got to dispatch Australian Isaac to go. He can be one of those people who secretly films the people filming the movie and then gleans random information based on what he sees happening.
Brian, I actually haven't shared this with you or the listeners, but Australian Isaac is actually going to be part of the crew. He's our mole in the operation. It's part of Operation Joey. Now,
ironically, he would probably know more about Gundam than anyone they have in the cast. They should probably hire Australian Isaac as an on-set consultant.
Based on the casting, which makes me wonder who the heck are they going to be playing, and based on the rumored time system change, the calendar system change, I have no idea what direction this story is going to go in. Australian Isaac there could only be a benefit to the team on the ground in Australia, filming in what I assume will be the Outback.
Australian Isaac, we're counting on you to keep them in line, okay? Keep them on task. Keep them focused on the Gundam mythos, the Gundam lore.
Gotta slap them around when they go off the timeline.
But that's right. So far, this is what we know. The movie is starring a guy named Noah Centineo, or Centineo, I don't know how to say his name.
Centineo, I believe.
Centineo, okay. Apologies, Noah. He was in something called To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and he's also in Street Fighter. I have not seen any of his work.
Okay.
He is like 28, 29-ish, around there.
Yeah. I saw him most recently, and by that I mean like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years, in a show where he was like a government agent.
Okay.
I hope he's not Amuro, because he's not Amuro's age.
Right. He does not look like... this dude is pretty jacked, right? Like, he does not look like Amuro to me at all. Yeah, we're going to get to that, but I don't think this is going to be an Amuro story. And then the co-star, Isaac, is drum noise... Sydney Sweeney.
Ah, yes.
When I think of Gundam Isaac, I think of Sydney Sweeney.
When I think of Sydney Sweeney, Brian, let's just say I don't think of anything good.
I have actually not seen any of her film work. I have no idea what her range is or anything. She has a lot of fans. She's also 28, and so that's really close to Noah Centineo's age. So I would assume that there is going to be some sort of pairing there, one way or the other. So those two have been known for a while, off and on for about a year. We've been hearing those names. But in February and March, we got a bunch of new names now, okay? In February, they said that they've cast Jason Clarke, who was from A House of Dynamite. He's about 56. However, I guess the last few days I've seen that apparently he is no longer affiliated with the film. So I guess he has now fallen off.
He read the script and was like, nope.
No, I'm done with that. But in the last 3 days, they've cast Michael Mando.
Yeah.
Or Michael Mando. I don't know how to say his name. But everybody knows Mando. He's 44. Everybody knows him from Better Call Saul, and also he plays the Scorpion in the new Spider-Man films.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. I mean, Isaac, have you seen Better Call Saul? One of my favorite shows. Michael Mando was one of the best parts of the show. He was fantastic.
Brian, Better Call Saul is one of my favorite shows, and I'm going to actually go on a bit of a limb, although I think a lot of people will join me on that limb. And when I say it's actually better than Breaking Bad.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad definitely laid the framework for Better Call Saul, but I just found Saul a very intriguing protagonist. You were never bored watching that show.
No, not at all. They're both great shows and they work hand in hand, but maybe by a nose or a little bit longer, Better Call Saul.
Yep.
Comes out on top, but man, Michael Mando, he does quite a performance as the great character Nacho.
Yeah, I would say Nacho was almost, if Mike was really endearing to you in Breaking Bad, Nacho was kind of really endearing to you in Better Call Saul.
You root for Nacho as the story goes on, even if you don't initially based on what he's doing.
Yeah, and he's not necessarily like the best guy, right? But you still root for him, so.
Right, exactly, yeah.
In addition to Michael Mando, they've also cast 2 other women, one named Shiola Kutsuna. She is 33 years old. She played Yukio from Deadpool. So everybody remembers Yukio. She was like the one that would always say, "Hi Wade," who Wade, Deadpool was really in love with. That was quite funny. And then another named Gemma Chua-Tran. She was in something called Heartbreak High. I don't know her. I've never seen any of her work, but anyway, she's also part of the cast now, Isaac. Those all 3 just came out in the last 3, 4, 5 days. So I better edit this fast, Isaac, because there's probably going to be some more news by the time that this comes out that we don't know about yet. But what are your expectations for this movie now, and have they changed from when we started this process? Because as we said in the beginning, we still don't have a movie. We got all excited before. They changed it all up on us. We got a whole new set of people. What do we think at this point?
Well, I'm still of the mixed opinion. On the one hand, I feel like whatever we're going to get, whatever comes out of those gates, it's going to be fresh and new. It's going to be very different than just the first 6 episodes of the Gundam original series.
Sure.
Age-wise, character-wise, I expect them to give us maybe some of the same names, half a name, but other than that, the ages are going to be upscaled. It's going to be a much more, how do I say, Americanized story. And that's kind of reflective of who I assume will be the main characters. I assume will be Noah Centineo and Sydney Sweeney, simply because of their kind of rank in Netflix and, cinema. I feel like, I don't want to say don't think it's going to be good, but it'll be something. It'll be something wholly different.
That's the back cover of the book right there. I don't think it's going to be good, but
something wholly different. Prepare for something you've never seen before. Look, I hope it's entertaining and stuff, but I don't think it's going to be that close to the Gundam we're used to. But it certainly feels like something's happened internally, because a lot of wheels are moving now. A lot of names are coming out of who's being cast and stuff. Let's see if they actually do it. But man, Sydney Sweeney is kind of a big name.
Right. That's a good point. It does feel like things are moving now. Like they've actually announced that they're going to start filming. So I think that this is actually going to happen now. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know. But if they're going to start filming Isaac, then that means this thing is going forward. And that's probably a good move by Bandai, because from their perspective, they're thinking the same thing we're thinking. You know, they announced this movie back in 2018. It's 2026. This movie's not going to finish and be ready until 2028 at this ready. That means you've announced your film 10 years before it comes out. That's too long.
This would be a situation of like back in the day, listeners, a studio decides we have to just release it straight to DVD.
Yeah, we could end up with another G Savior, right?
We missed our schedule. It's going straight to DVD just so we can barely recoup the investment, and then we'll wash our hands of it. Everybody walk away, because we're not putting this in theaters. Took way too long, too many names, and moved on. It's just, yeah.
And I think at this point, from my perspective, I just want it to not fail. Like, I don't think it needs to be the biggest thing ever. I just want it to not be bad. Because there are people, right, like at work or other friends who know that we do this podcast. And they, anytime they see something Gundam, they'll say, oh, I saw this Gundam thing, blah, blah, blah. So if this movie comes out, Isaac, and it's really bad and they go watch it, they're going to be like, that's what you like? They're going to be like, you have terrible tastes.
Oh, man. I mean, yeah. This will be this will wholly frame Gundam for almost millions of viewers. Is that what you're saying, Ryan?
Yeah, I think if you don't already watch Gundam and you have no idea what it is, this movie will set the tone for what those people think of Gundam for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Which is kind of a shame.
Absolutely. I think either way, right? Because if it's bad, obviously that's bad. They'll just never engage with the franchise. And then if it's really good, it'll just overshadow everything that we love, and we'll never hear about that again.
Ironically, Hathaway's Flash has been out for years, and it's a far superior film.
Sure.
So is Unicorn. Unicorn's been on what was it? It was on Netflix, right?
It's been on all the streaming services, for a while.
Iron-Blooded Orphans, series that are so much better than I assume what this movie will end up being, which will be what would we actually call it? It's gonna be Guntron.
That's a good question. Like, if you had to peg it on your expectations based on other franchises, like, where do you think it's going to land? So, for example, absolute worst catastrophe, right, is the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie, right?
Sure.
Like, if we get that, we're screwed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if we could end up where, like, the Super Mario movie ended up, that would be a win.
They'd have to do that, Brian, or they'd have to Dune it, essentially.
Oh, Dune's probably the best possible scenario, right?
Yeah, where it's like, oh, man, it's this sci-fi world that has like it almost has a correct parallel, really. All right. So at least starting us out. So they got their ingredients, right? They got like this good ancient, really, the sci-fi story, right? And then at the same time, they've got fan base that's very engaged, really enjoys it. They got a fan base up on the uptrend.
Sure.
Anime's booming and miniatures and blah, 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 card games, whatever. You can watch anime anywhere. Everybody watches anime now. So all they have to do is pull it off like they did Dune.
That's a good point.
And they win.
Yeah, Dune's a great template because it has the whole established media franchise to go off of. Like, that's a great blueprint for them to follow in terms of how serious to take it, etc. Oh, that was the other thing I left out. I guess I didn't say the director, Isaac. The new director, his name is Jim Mickle. He is both writing and directing. He was the showrunner of a show called Sweet Tooth, which I guess has 3 seasons. I've never watched Sweet Tooth. It has a lot. It's got nominated for a lot of awards. I actually thought, Isaac, that it was a... Because, okay, if you're Isaac and I's age, when you hear Sweet Tooth, what do you think of, Isaac?
Well, Ryan, not to age myself, but I think of the murderous homicidal clown serial killer from the hit series Twisted Metal, a game series that came out on the original PlayStation.
That is 100% correct. So I thought Sweet Tooth was a Twisted Metal show. It is not. It is based.
I would watch his own show, wouldn't you?
I mean, that sounds like a show that someone would make these days, right?
It'd be great, I think, because I watched the Twisted Metal show, and he's like a big part of the comedy in it.
See, because I was thinking, oh, someone saw it, and they were like, clowns are in. Like, let's get another. Like, what other media has clowns that we can use? Someone was like, Twisted Metal has Sweet Tooth, and they were like, boom, green light it, you know? But no, it's based on a comic by a guy named Jeff Lemire, who's a fairly famous comic book writer, and it's about the world went downhill, and now people are being born as like human animal hybrids. They have like kind of animal type features and stuff. It has 3.
Oh my God.
It has 3 seasons, Isaac. Like this is a real successful. It's hard to get 3 seasons out of anything these days.
That's true, but I mean, I have vaguely heard of it. I have heard good things. But much like Yellow Jackets, I know it's a show I'm just not going to invest my time into, no matter how good people say it is. I just have other shows to watch.
Got it. Well, listeners, if you've watched Sweet Tooth and it's really good, let us know your thoughts, or just let us know your thoughts in general. Do you believe in Jim Mickle? Can he do this? And if Jim Mickle, if you're listening and you'd like to come on the podcast, we would more than happily have you on board.
And listeners, if you haven't seen the Jim Mickle show Sweet Tooth, but you know who the serial killer clown character Sweet Tooth is, tell us what you think about the serial killer clown character Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, and send in your designs for a Gundam that Sweet Tooth would pilot.
Well, we don't really need to do that, because in Twisted Metal Black, his special is like the Sweet Tooth van, the ice cream truck.
Oh, okay.
It turns into a mech.
Oh, really? Okay, because I just remember the ice cream truck.
He upgraded it a lot.
Oh, right. Okay.
But as the games go on, and somehow the government still doesn't stop these games.
I only played number 1 and number 2.
Boy, were they great, though.
That was a good game. Yeah. They'd also led to this kind of, because I never had a PlayStation. I only had a Nintendo 64, and there was a game on there called Vigilante 8, which was kind of like a scaled down version of Twisted Metal, but it was like a card fighting game. Also a great game. So I only ever had Vigilante 8. I never actually owned Twisted Metal, but
Vigilante 8 was its own special too. Ironically, quite fitting nowadays, because Vigilante 8 was all about the oil embargo of the 70s.
That just tells you everything you know about Isaac. Listeners, he remembers the plot to Vigilante 8 was about the oil embargo. That was like a no-name game from the early 2000s.
It was a no-name game. It was the era of like the console wars were continuing. Right. They were kind of in their infancy in a way. And studios were trying to compete with each other by putting out very similar games.
Right.
That was the era of, like Brian said, Twisted Metal and Vigilante 8. And then later on, in the next generation, we had Halo, and then, of course, every other shooter coming out calling themselves a Halo killer, which never really happened. Much like no one really dethroned Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
But that's a different podcast.
Coming next week on Console Wars.
On Console Drop.
That said, Isaac, we've got a lot of like movies lately with bad CG and series with bad CG.
Yeah.
And this is a franchise, Isaac. We've got giant robots. We have to have top-notch good CG. So I'm a little worried about that. Especially after I looked at that preview image before. I was like, oh man, I don't know if that's going to cut it these days.
Not to be rude to the hard workers in Korea that produce this content. It's a little PlayStation, Sony intro cinematic, right? Or cutscene, right? It's very Resident Evil cutscene quality.
Yeah. And again, I think that that wasn't the final product, right? That was just something they made to show everybody. Yeah. But
to show everybody the level of quality the budget will allow.
They've got to nail it. They can't half-ass this part of the film.
You know what's kind of going for them in a way. Now, hang on to me, listeners, as I take you down, to the land of make believe. So we've seen that, much like Netflix is hoping to do, Amazon can pull off a successful sci-fi movie.
Sure.
And I'm referring to Project Hail Mary, which made a crazy amount of money. I think the most money for like an Amazon release, right? Or something like that.
Wouldn't surprise me.
So if Netflix can pull that off much the same way with a fan base that is bigger than the reader base of the book Project Hail Mary, I believe, going off the top of my head, then I think there's a good chance this works. But this will really come down to not just the cast themselves, which is a pretty strong cast, I think. I mean, Noah Centineo, I saw the show. I didn't watch season 2. Sydney Sweeney, I'm not a big fan. And then who else? Michael Mando. I'm a big fan. I'd rather see, the next Spider-Man for him rather than for like Tom Holland or whoever else is going to be in it. Man, if they can pull this off by like having a great teaser, a great set of trailers, building up hype, people are going to go nuts for it. There hasn't been anything that quite replaced the good hype and goodwill people had towards big robots since Pacific Rim 1.
Yep, that's true.
It's an untapped market. There's been a while since the Transformers movie too. People like their big robots. Right? They don't like Mark Wahlberg, but they might like big robots.
I think the Transformers movies, I think they just kind of ran their course. And I'm a big Transformers, Generation 1 and Beast Wars fan. But Isaac, did you see the Beast Wars movie? Transformers, whatever it was called, Beast something?
Beast Kingdom?
Something like that. I don't know.
No.
Rise of the Beast, that's what it was called.
Right. No, Brian. I stopped at like, what was the third Transformers called?
There was Transformers, there was Dark of the Moon, there was the Last Night,
Rise of the Fallen?
Last Night or something. Revenge of the Fallen was one of them.
I think I saw whatever the third one was, where like Cybertron appears in space.
Oh yeah, that was a little much.
And then like they save the world.
Yeah.
And then it ends with like a Linkin Park song.
Don't they all end with a Linkin Park song?
I think only 2 of them do.
Well, anyway, Rise of the Beast. The ending was absurd. I'll just put it that way. No offense to Rise of the Beast fans out there, but
they're offended already.
I guess what I'm saying is we need to aim higher than Rise of the Beasts. Okay, but your point is very valid. There's a power vacuum right now for the mech genre.
Brian, all the ingredients are on the table. They're on the counter right now, Brian. They got the fan base there. They got the wind of anime at their backs. They've got the sci-fi loyalists, which is great too. Giant robots. They got the edgy hypeness of Japan. They've got some decent to good actors. And then they've got the vacuum, like you just mentioned, of big robots. I mean, it's kind of theirs to ruin.
Sure. That's so right under, what did you say before? I don't think it's going to be good, but ... It's theirs to ruin.
Boldly new.
End quote. Isaac.
That's like a
Colony Drop podcast.
Like the flavor nobody likes. But it's boldly new.
Okay, so that's a good segue. Oh, the one other thing I forgot to say is, so Netflix is no longer a co-producer. They're just distributor now. So this is purely just Legendary and Bandai now.
Sure.
But okay, let's talk about the story and based on what we see of the cast here. As you touched on earlier, Isaac, based on Noah's and Sydney's age, and if we assume that they are the main characters, I do not think that this is a one-year war Amuro, Char, Lalah story. Unless you believe that she could be Lalah. The reason I think that's not true is Lalah, I don't see why you wouldn't use an Indian actress. Lalah's a very specific part. And if this is an Amuro, Char, Lalah story, where's Char? We don't have our third person, assuming Noah would be the good guy.
I actually think that they were going to make Noah Centineo Amuro. Sydney Sweeney was going to be a Lalah type character, if not in name. And what's his name? Luke, whatever. Jason Clarke, I'm sorry, who was in Oppenheimer. Yeah. And also, if you remember, maybe nobody watches the whole Terminator franchise like I do, but he was in Terminator Regenesis, whatever, where he played John Connor. He, I assume, was going to be a older, upscaled, because of the other two, Noah and Sydney, being the age they are. He would be a bright Noah, officer. He's an officer-looking guy. Let's put it that way. He's got a strong chin, and then Noah can play like they always do. There's always like some 20-year-old to 30-year-old playing like a high school student or something. Yeah. And then Sydney Sweeney she's in that show Euphoria, which is about high school students, even though she's well past the age for high school.
She is 28. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it looked like they were doing it by the numbers as close as they could. To try to capture the original cast.
Interesting.
At least a main group. Who would Char be? Who knows? It might have been somebody we don't really see because he's in the mask the whole movie.
Oh, all right. See, if Char was in the movie, I was thinking they would announce him as one of the primary cast members, but...
You see, Brian, you're thinking like a Gundam fan. You gotta think like a standard North American consumer who hasn't even seen one episode of Gundam, right? Anybody could be behind the Char mask. It could be, what's that guy's name? Who was in Ready Player One? Lips and Nose. What's his name?
Oh, like the main guy?
Yeah. Ty Sheridan? No? Yeah, that's him. It's Lips and Nose.
Lips and Nose.
This guy's in Ready Player One. Why? Because all you're going to really see is like his unique lips and his nose, right? And then he was also Cyclops in the X-Men First Class series. Why? Because all you're going to see is his lips and his nose. He's one of those actors.
Okay, well, all right. Isaac's putting it out there. Ty Sheridan for Char, I suppose.
Yeah, why not? Just, he's not going to have to do much. He's going to be sitting in a cockpit for like collecting a check, really.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you still think that this is going, I'll call it 0079 route here.
Yes, but they'll Tron it. They'll transformer it a bit, okay. Brian. They'll make it AmeriMech.
AmeriMech. Wow.
Yeah. Damn, we had to turn that into something, Brian. That's pretty.
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, write that down.
Fights for freedom with his fists
of justice,
of steel and justice. Yeah.
Okay.
The Liberty Beam. All right.
So let's assume they do that though. Is that a good thing? Because, the last year, right, Isaac, we watched the original movie trilogy.
Sure.
And I just don't think that works. It doesn't even work in 3 movies. How are you going to make it work in 1 movie?
Because their goal in this movie is to hit you with the cliffhanger at the end. And you had such a good time that, much like Dune, you want to see chapter 2 and 3.
So you think they're going trilogy out of the box?
They got the rights to the franchise that has legs. They know it's episodic in its series and movies. So they're hoping if they can squeeze juice out of this, they can transformer it and then get more than one shot out.
So where would you end this? What's your cliffhanger ending? Like what's your, I guess because you're thinking what, they got to blow up a Death Star at the end of this?
I'm thinking this ends with them going to Earth.
Oh, going to Earth? Not like ending with Odessa or something?
See, what's throwing me off is they're filming in Australia. Why are you filming in Australia?
That sounds like ground warfare to me, buddy.
Yeah. So you might be right in that they wanted to end with like the big Odessa battle. But in my head, I'm trying to figure out like how can they skip the whole space colony part of the story?
That's so iconic, though. Are you sure you want to skip that?
Yeah. I hope they don't, because being in space tells us so much about the setting that makes it unique, Yeah. And if they just say, well, they're from a small military town out here in the outback. And, none of them have Australian accents, but they live and work here. And they're part of the Earth Federation. And they built a secret weapon in this war that's happening in space. You don't really see it in space because we're not in space, but it's happening out there, which is more telling than showing, Brian. And we know that means doom in a story.
Is Noah Centineo going to go pick up some power converters from Tashi Station in his speeder bike, too, while he's out in the desert?
He absolutely will, Brian. And he'll have a dog named Haro, and it'll be a Japanese Shiba Inu. And then, let's see, what else? Sydney Sweeney will be like his high school crush at like the engineering school.
I hate it already.
And there's a scene where the Gundam picks up the American flag and like charges into battle, leading the Type 63 tanks.
I believe you mean AmeriMech.
Oh, yes, the AmeriMech. Yes, Brian.
Oh, man.
The capital of the Earth Federation's in Washington.
Okay, so you think Sydney Sweeney is playing a Lalah-esque character. I did think about that. I thought, like, who would Sydney Sweeney be?
It's got to be Lalah. She wouldn't be a villain. I don't see them casting her as like, by the way, it turns out she was Caecilia the whole time.
Sure.
It's like, well, no.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a few people I thought of for her.
Oh.
I'd say out of all Gundam female protagonists, she most closely resembles Sayla. Sayla's a little more meek than Sydney Sweeney. I don't think you cast Sydney Sweeney in a movie like this to play someone like Sayla, unless you were going to have Sayla have like a much bigger role in the story. I mean, she kind of looks like Beltachica, but that's too deep. Beltachica is not going to be in this movie.
You're in the field, Brian. You're out there in the tall grass. Right. Come back.
However, this isn't who I think she's playing, but I had another thought. If you believe that this is a 0079 Amuro, Char, Lalah type story, there's another new type in the Mobile Suit Gundam novel that Amuro meets. I believe it's before Lalah. It's either before or after. I'm pretty sure it's before. I haven't read it in many, many years. But her name is Kuzco Al, and she is not depicted in very many media. But there's a picture of her on the wiki you can see. She has like sort of long flowing hair. It's often portrayed as pink, and she serves much the same purpose as Lalah does. She could be Kuzco Al. I could see that happening, and that way you don't have to deal with the whole like, oh, why did you change Lalah, blah 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 blah. This is actually very close to the original story. You know, that is a real character. So what do you think of Kuzco Al, Isaac?
I just don't see it happening when Lala's there, and she's got quite the girl next door type thing going for her in a way. They might do a Fraw Bow Lalah mashup is what I assume they'll do.
Okay.
But having another pilot on the field, especially one with such strong physical characteristics like pink hair, I think Sydney Sweeney like
I was wondering if you were talking about Sydney Sweeney or Kuzco Al.
But of both in a way. I don't see Sydney Sweeney wanting to get into a role where she has long, hot pink hair.
Oh, I don't think they'd make her hair pink. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying her style fits what I would envision Sydney Sweeney playing more so than Lalah.
No, I think Sydney would take Lalah because she's blonde and she's oh so good. She's a hero too. Yay.
Okay. So, but I've also heard. Well, I'm gonna finish going through the story, and then we're gonna go into my Sydney Sweeney sidebar. All right. I have a funny Sydney Sweeney story. I don't know what you've heard about what timeline or whatever this is. I've read rumors, but I've never seen them substantiated ever, that this would be more of an 8th MS team movie.
Really?
And I could certainly see that happening because that is much easier to fit into like a 2-hour narrative. You know, Americans love our war stories, our war films. That's a much easier thing to film. And I think Noah and Sydney line up great as Shiro and Aina. I could see that. And
wow.
Goddamn it, Isaac, Jason Clarke, I know he's no longer on the movie, but you look at his face, he looks like Norris Packard.
Yeah, wow. He's got the chin. He just cut his hair and he's Norris Packard, right?
That's right. Exactly.
Wow. That's great.
Aina is a very strong role for Sydney. Like, I could see her signing on to be a co-star. So, I don't know. I could see that happening. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to make literally 8th MS team, but they did just cast all these other people. That could be the 8th team. Michael Mando, I could see him being, what was the other guy on the team? The older guy? I forget his name.
Yeah, whatever he was. The bad luck Tom.
Right. Yeah, bad luck Tom. There you go.
There he goes. Spreading that bad luck to his squad, getting them all killed.
So my bet is that either this is an 8th MS team story or an original story. I just don't see him successfully pulling off the original story in an hour 45 minutes. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. Maybe Jim Mickle is the guy to do it. And then in addition to that, Isaac.
Yeah.
If Gundam came out and was successful 3-4 years ago, we could already be on the Zeta movie right now. And the Rise of the Titans would be perfectly timed to what's happening in the world today, and it would have made just so much sense.
Oh, it would have, Brian. And the controversy around it would have gotten people just so excited to comment and share their thoughts on exactly how this fictional story compares to real life.
That would have been so timely, Isaac. It's a bummer.
Yeah, but I mean, here we are. Delay number 50.
Yeah. All right, so there you have it, listeners. Isaac is betting this is a one-year war, Amuro Lalah-esque story. But you think they're going to transform it? They're going to change it up, AmeriMech it?
A bit.
This will not be based in what we know as the Universal Century, is what you're saying.
No, not that much. But I put a little asterisk next to my comments, my last sentences, because as we both know, Brian, the One Piece series has done bananas, hands over fist. It has done bonkers level successful and is its own kind of memetic thing now. Yep. Outside of the regular anime series. People love that series on Netflix. My God.
Have you watched it, Isaac? It still feels very like, and I know Oda, the author, I know he has given his feedback on all the casting. There's just something about it. It doesn't look very cinematic, Isaac. It looks a little student filmy to me.
Was it good feedback or?
Yeah. He helped cast them all, which is fine. I mean, I think One Piece it's so hard to do that live action. I'm blown away that they even accomplished it for one.
I don't know if it's something or just the level of wackiness translates well and people just enjoy a lighthearted, fun show in these times. But man, it's gone so successful. But much like you, I look at it sometimes and I feel like I'm looking at like AI in a way, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, it's got that Netflix quality to it, and I don't mean that in a good way, you know.
Bit of a sheen.
And that's nothing against anyone involved in the show. By the way, Isaac will tell you, I'm the biggest One Piece fan in the world.
Oh yeah. He loves it. He's got the straw hat.
Yeah, I do. I have a big flag, too. My wife won't let me hang it up anymore in the house, but I did have it up in the house.
I need to get a flag that's the world government flag. It's just white and has that black cross on it.
It's just a word. It just says oppression.
Yeah, it just says world government at the bottom. I'm like, you know what? We should have a world government. I don't like those pirates.
There are certain people, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk might agree with you.
I would be a noble. Where's my suit?
Oh, man. Okay, so are you ready for my funny Sydney Sweeney story?
Oh, my God. Let's hear it.
Okay, so this is actually a two-part story, all right? I was traveling recently, so I'm sitting there in the Phoenix airport, and I'm walking, and I'm behind this guy. This is part one. This actually doesn't have anything to do with Sydney Sweeney. It's just funny. I'm behind this guy, and I see that he's wearing a backwards hat, and he's wearing a backwards Earth Federation logo hat, the blue hat with the Earth Federation crest. It's gold. It looks very nice. I was like, oh man, there's a freaking Gundam fan here, right? And so I was walking a little bit and I debated just saying hello and just being like, nice hat, I'm a Gundam fan too, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, I whatever, maybe it won't go well. And it was good I didn't, Isaac, because we both walked into the bathroom and then I realized I would have had to like keep up that awkward Gundam conversation where we both peed like at the urinal.
Hey, activate your beam.
Yeah, it could have just ended up horribly. I didn't talk to the guy.
Oh no. Your beam's more yellow than my energy.
I've never seen a yellow one before. So anyway, on the way out of the bathroom, I had my second Gundam experience in the Arizona airport. I'm walking back to the waiting area, and this girl who's probably in her like early to mid 20s is on the phone with, clearly she's talking to her boyfriend. I literally wrote down what she said. I pulled out my phone because I was cracking up. Because as you know, Isaac, wherever I go, I'm on the look for colony drop material. And so she's talking to her boyfriend.
Wherever Brian goes, he's quick to listen in on private conversations.
I mean, it wasn't very private. She was
like
talking
a
very
little
loudly.
Spy.
She goes, Sydney Sweeney is terrible. I don't know what you see in her. Her acting is terrible. And I laughed. One, because I was like, oh no, she's in the target age range for this movie. One. And then two, I was like, Miss, I know why your boyfriend likes Sydney Sweeney. Like what are you like? What? I'm not sure that acting was one of his criteria.
But Brian, think of her acting assets. I mean, they're quite the center of her character and personality, wouldn't you say?
For all I know, she's a wonderful individual. I've never seen anything she's done. You said she's on a show called Euphoria. I've heard of that. I know that's quite successful. It's got multiple seasons, right?
Yeah. I've seen the show.
Lalah's a nice character, though.
Lalah, on the other hand, is a great lady. She's what people should aspire to be. She's filled with compassion and kindness. She fights what's right. She's loyal to her friends and family. Almost to a fault, since she should have cut Char off a long time ago.
My point with that story wasn't so much anything about whether or not she's a good actress or a bad actress. It was more that I feel like casting Sydney Sweeney is their way of trying to, make the Gundam brand a little hipper and all that. It's kind of like, Nintendo getting all these big celebrity voices in the Super Mario movie. Even if you look in the second Hathaway movie, they got SZA to do one of the songs, right? They're trying to make Gundam a little more mainstream, and I feel like this casting is part of that. I just don't know if people watching the movies feel as great about her as maybe the people in charge do, is my point.
Yeah, well, they're definitely relying perhaps on her star power. I'm not sure they're going to rely on much else, because some fans might not want to watch because she's in it.
It could be true.
It might be a turn off. That's the thing with having very strong political opinions and being an actor or some type of public figure. You're a bit polarizing. You might get people stepping away before they've even seen what you've done.
Sure. All right, I have one last controversial take for you, Isaac. I think the best thing you could do to make this movie successful for an American audience is to make a Gundam Wing movie.
Wow. That's actually the best thing to do. I don't think we're in that plan, though.
No, probably not. But I think that plot fits nicer into 2 hours, and it's more easily understandable. You have 5 people sent on a mission of revenge. What more do you need?
Without question, is it better? But unfortunately, I feel like going out the screenshot, which might as well not even apply anymore.
Sure.
That's not a Gundam from Gundam Wing.
Oh, absolutely.
Number 2,
they're not doing that.
The casting, by now they would have been leading with like the hype around 5 main characters.
Sure.
But we're not getting that at all. So we're absolutely going to 079. If they could wipe the whiteboard clean again and get their little markers and write on it again, I would hope they would do Gundam Wing.
Yeah, I'm looking up Norris Packard here. I'm trying to fit. Do you think Michael Mando might be a replacement for Jason Clarke? You think he could be our Norris?
I hope not. That'd be a good role for him, and he'd get to play a villain, but I don't think he's going to be that.
No. Who do you think he's going to be?
Jason Clarke, I can see as a bright Noah. Michael Mando as a bright Noah? I don't know. He's almost seems too close in age to Noah Centineo. Like, unless they tell us, oh, by the way, I'm 18. And then, like, Michael Mando's like, I'm like, whatever, 40, 42 or 3 or whatever. And, like, he still gets to slap him around or something. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But visually, they don't seem far apart enough in age, I think.
Does he have comedic chops?
In a way, he was a villain in one of the Far Cry video games. But, like, he was kind of sarcastic and had, like, a dark humor to him. The things he would do to people. But I mean, I'm trying to visualize him now in a Char mask. I'm not quite sure.
No, I don't think he's gonna be Char.
Yeah, my name is Char Aznavour. No, I forgot. We're in the West now, Brian, so we have to pronounce it by the new way it's pronounced, which is Char.
Char.
Char Aznavour.
Oh, you know how long that would screw us up if they said his name Char in the movie? We would never hear the end of it.
Yeah. Man, I mean...
that would set us back years.
Char. There goes Char. He's red.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what's coming, listeners. Prepare yourselves, because they're making that movie, whether you want them to or not. I hope it's really good.
Yeah.
Production begins next month. And by next month, I guess that means April. So by the time this comes out, they may have started production down in Australian Isaac. You better be on scene. You better be down there filming and giving us updates.
We need detailed status reports and updates. Tell us exactly what's going on. Ask about the plot. The works. It's up to you.
Colony Drop will not reimburse your expenses on this trip.
Drop what you're doing. Abandon your family. Go immediately to, I assume this is filming in Sydney. Or the Outback and the sound studio. I don't know.
Who knows?
And then when over there, begin telling us what they're doing. Tell us about... He can't even take footage of stuff because so much of it's going to be computer generated.
True, yeah. It's going to be like a bunch of sticks.
Green screens. people in Earth Federation costumes pointing at stuff on like a green screen. It's like, well,
oh boy.
They're mad about something.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't even know, huh? It's all indoors or something.
Yeah, it's like, well, you know what? Maybe they're pointing at the wreckage of a Musai, or this is the part where the Type 83s go into battle.
We can only hope. All right, listeners. Well, let us know your thoughts on this new iteration of the Gundam movie. Is your hope way up high? Is it kind of muted now that this is the second go around? Where's the temperature at in the room on this movie? Honestly, last time we talked about this movie, I asked Reddit, and a lot of people were just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really need to think about it until it happens. And I thought that was very strange. Usually people really want to dig into things. So I don't know. I don't know what people want anymore, Isaac. The world's weird now.
Yeah, it's very weird. And this thing's going to be weirder. I'm very curious how much One Piece has influenced it. I'm very curious how much this is going to try to stay so loyal to 0079. I'm curious if they're going to just throw everything out and say, we need a purely new original story that's going to be like just so different. And, it's going to be its own thing, but it'll be great because we're all behind it. We're in the grass now. We have no idea what's on the other side of the field. But we're going to get there when this is done. And then we'll be able to see who was right, who was wrong, who was in the middle, Brian, and who wishes they never did it.
That makes sense to me. All right, listeners, leave us your predictions, your hopes, your dreams, your fears, anything you want about the Gundam live action movie. And then I guess let's all just hope for the best, because if it does well, Gundam does well, and we get more of the normal Gundam that we like. So hopefully this does well too. I wish the cast nothing but the best. Please make us a good Gundam movie, and we're all pulling for you.
Good luck, everybody. If they pull this off and it's great, I mean, they got themselves a Netflix Dune. You know, they captured lightning in a bottle.
Right.
They can do One Piece again, but this time it's sci-fi instead of just One Piece being fantasy and kind of steampunk, I guess, in a way. Sailpunk? Sailpunk. We'll go with that.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dune's doing well, and I mean, as you said, Project Hail Mary's doing well. So I think the people are, they want new sci-fi franchises. Yeah. As you said, it's yours to ruin.
Who doesn't like giant robots? Let's see if Netflix pulls it off, though.
Alrighty, Isaac, take us away.
All right, listeners, before you go to sleep tonight, stand next to your bed, get on your knees, put your hands together, look up at the ceiling, and hail Xeon.
Good night, everybody.